Good day, my name is Christel from Frans, the Klerk Independent Technical Analysts. We are going to look at indices this week, and the J560, the telecommunication index, has got a beautiful cup and handle formation. And I think in technical analysis, cup and handle formations and V formations were on the lips of every technical analyst this year, not only locally, but also in the US and in other territories. At the moment, we can see a beautiful cup, left, a right handle, and looks like it might be building on another right handle. Now, confirmation of this optimism around this formation will be at 4,321. Above that level, the optimism will be confirmed. My 40-week moving average, represented by that red line, waiting at 3,749, has changed into a support, and that is seen as positive. Now, the big critical level that needs to remain in place is the support there at the bottom of that handle on the telecommunications index, and that is waiting at 3,552. Below that level, the optimism around the formation will become obsolete, and we can assume then that the momentum to the bottom can continue. What is the target of the cup and handle? The conservative target is usually the length of the handle projected upwards from where the neckline will confirm the formation, which means the telecommunications index can go back to 5,089, and the full target is the length of the cup projected upwards from where the neckline will confirm the formation, which means it can go back to 6,256. It is at the moment already retracing from overbought level, sitting on in 58, not an ideal place to enter at the moment. General Finance, the J877 index, has got shares in like Remgro, PSG Group, PSG Consult, Coronation, Quilter, and Braid, just to mention a few. And again, a technical graph on a weekly graph that shows a beautiful cup and handle formation. We can either use that resistance as the neckline for the cup and handle, or we can take it a little bit lower because there's strong resistance there as well, around 2,535. I'm going to use the more conservative trend line, the closer level, a beautiful cup and handle formation. My red line, my 40-week moving average, has changed into a support, and that is seen as positive. Unfortunately, it is almost overbought, but more importantly, it looks like that K line, the shorter moving average within my stochastic, look like it wants to turn around. It look like it's running out of steam. When that blue line breaks through my orange line, the confirmation of a divergence, a negative divergence, will be on the table, which can act as a warning that we might see profit taking first back to these support levels around 2,218. Below that level, the optimism will be off the table. Below my 40-week, my long-term sentiment will change to negative. But above that support level, the target can maybe take this general finance index back to the window waiting between 2,764 and 2,766. A 2-point window there that is waiting as a possible target for the general finance index. We can see that it's coming from an extremely low base. I mean, if I zoom out, the last time this index traded around these levels was in December 2012. Seng is the next one on our list. I mean, we know 10 cents obviously plays a big part of what is happening on the Hang Sengs, especially locally. And we can see that there was also some resistance. Cup and handle formation that was confirmed with a beautiful cup, resistance, build on a handle, found resistance now for the 3 weeks in the week of the 23rd of November, 30th of November, as well as the 7th of December. The Hang Seng have stopped making highs. It could not go back to the previous resistance levels there around 28,059 and back to 29,198. So that tells me that we might see lower highs. If I go back to that week, every time it's a little bit lower and lower, and that is seen as negative. The critical level on the Hang Seng index that needs to remain a support is this neckline waiting at 25,877. Below that, we can maybe even see lower levels back to the 40-week moving average, that red line, that long-term sentiment line in the sand, and that is waiting at 24,681. Only when those resistance levels, the highs at 27,040, changes into a support again, can we assume that the momentum to the top can continue and that this possible cup and handle formation can become a reality to take this index to higher levels. The 40-week moving average and that neckline is critical levels for the Hang Seng index to keep this momentum in place. The second the third level of support that needs to remain in place on the Hang Seng index is that 23,000 level, 23,124 level. Below that level, lower highs and the optimism around that cup and handle formation will be off the table. Also take note, it is overbought at the moment. My two lines have already broken downwards, which confirms a negative divergence, which tells me the probability of a pullback to lower levels is more likely on the Hang Seng index at this stage. The DAX, listed in Germany, also an index that is traded frequently by local investors because of its proximity to the Aussie, and it doesn't ignore technical indicators. We can clearly see that resistance there around 13,450, it has been tested and could not change into a support back in the 31st of August 2020, 30th of November, as well as the 7th of December. So only when the DAX starts to consolidate above 13,479 on a weekly close again, can we assume that the momentum to the top will continue. My next lower high based on candles on the DAX index will be below that level of 13,009. We can see that the all-time high on the DAX is waiting at 13,795. And the fact that this high is a little bit lower than this high tells me that we're seeing lower highs, and that is seen as a negative. Extremely overbought as well. My stochastic is sitting on an 89, which makes the probability of a pullback more likely. But we can also see, and I'm going to take this line up, that we are sitting here with a cup and a handle formation. So if that high there at 13,454 changes into a support, the optimism around that cup and handle formation will be confirmed, which can take this DAX index a lot higher. And again, the length of the handle is the conservative target for this formation, which means my DAX can go back to 15,465, assuming the resistance levels changes into a support. But we know formations does not rally in one go. It pulls back, it breathes, it rallies again. So consider taking profit when an instrument is overbought, especially when that stochastic is sitting above an 80 or a 90. The UK 100, a future that can be used to replicate the movement on the FTSE, on the FTSE that you can use to mirror what is happening on the FTSE exchange. Again, another cup and handle formation. And for those who are new to technical analysis, cup and handle formations are not the only formations on graphs, but so many patterns. Look at it, the Hang Seng, the DAX, on our financial sector, our retailers, so many of them have cup and handles formation. So we can see massive pullback, found support in March, bounce, got nervous again because the rally was very fast. Was it too quickly, too soon? Pulled back again. But for many of them, the support was a little bit higher than the support it found in March. Very optimistic. And then when that resistance that they found here in June changed into support on the FTSE index, waiting there around 6,513, the optimism of the formation was confirmed. But now the big question is, can it sustain it? Is it going to pull back again? Will traders take profit? Or is the momentum to the top going to continue? I am going to use the low of this candle of the 30th of November, waiting at 6,244 as the protection level on my FTSE 100 index. Below that level, the first bell of warning will ring to say, maybe consider taking profit. This has been a steep rally to the top. Maybe you can buy again at lower levels, because the optimism of this formation will only be wiped off the table when the support waiting there at, I'll give you that exact level, 5,494 remain in place. Below that level, the warning will be, or the optimism around my cup and handle formation will become obsolete. But as long as that level remains a support, the possibility of that cup and handle formation is still on play for the FTSE 100. very critical. I just want to see that is a gap. The high is waiting at 7,353 and that low is 7,482. So yes, I've got a beautiful window there on my FTSE graph that I can aim for, a target that one can aim for, because the rules around windows are they always get close. It can take days, weeks, months, or decades. But a window on a weekly graph is seen as weighs quite heavily. And there are two reasons why windows or gaps on graphs get formed. One is an emotional window. That happens when there was shocking news and the market overreacted to a side, whether it's up or down, or a fundamental window, which happened when the capital structure of the company changed in terms of a rights issue, and unbundling, a dividend payout, anything that changed the capital structure. Now we can see here, there was also a window in the week of the 2nd of March between 6,403 and the 9th of March, 6,277, a gap here. Let me draw that for you, maybe that will make it easier to see it. There's my gap, but subsequently these candles closed it. So that window has already been closed by these candles here, because a gap gets closed when the trading of a candle fills that void. That's when a window gets closed. So I've got a nice window there at the top on my weekly graph that one can aim for as a possible level of where the FTSE can go to. Don't forget to send through your request for next year's show. May you all have a blessed Christmas and a prosperous 2021. See you next year. Take care.